Hey everyone, we're here, returning with timely coverage of Love is Blind UK Season 3, now on Netflix. This is Love Blind, dating reality podcast commentary. I'm your host, Neil. I'm here with Shelly, my co-host.
Hey everyone.
And we watched, I watched the rest of episode 3, and then obviously episodes 4 through 8 of the huge episode drop. We've got the 2 new episodes tonight. We have not watched before, as of recording this. We have not watched the wedding episodes that dropped today. So that's what we're watching and talking about on Sunday. So we're here to talk about the couples. Do we have any thoughts before we jump into individual couples? We're going to jump into each one here or there, but any thoughts overall?
Yeah, I realize this is my first not American reality TV show that I've watched. Like, I've seen lots of British shows. I've seen shows in other languages, whatever, but I've never seen a reality show. And well, that's not true. I saw Dubai Bling. Okay, so maybe not exactly true, but I am floored at how calm and rational everybody is. Like, I was like, I keep waiting for someone to fly into a rage and they're just not. And I'm so thrown off by it. Like, they have conversations, they communicate, they're upset, there's conflict for sure, but it's not the end of the world for anybody. They're like, okay, we can move on, we can agree to disagree. There's no yelling, there's no drink throwing, there's none of that. And I'm like, what is this?
I do. Yeah, it's a very different vibe. It is a wildly different show than the American. But I think what I noticed, like, to me, the interesting thing was, I actually think it's equally toxic because none of them are actually having real conversations. There's this subtle, it's how we get like the Northeasterners who don't talk about their feelings and everything's like a negative backhanded compliment, so that's what they're actually like. Everyone in, like, it's like that, like, don't ever like say what you actually think, just always subtly undermine people constantly. And I think Ciara does that constantly, is like everything
Ciara's a little different,
is like manipulatively disgusting. Look, she might not be as horrible as I think. I don't know how bad she is now. She had a little bit of a turn. We'll talk about it. But like I'm saying, like, I think some of them do have a lot of okay, some of them do. But I think the difference is, instead of explosions, you get this weird gaslighting, social, political maneuvering. I'm going to go tell... It's very middle school. I'm going to go tell this person so that they'll tell that person so that person got mad about it. And I'm like, get the out of here. Like, just...
Yeah, I can see that about Ciara a little bit, but the rest of them, I feel like...
Oh, the rest of them...
I don't know. There's a couple of times I thought they would blow up and they just didn't. And I was like, this is so different from watching American reality TV.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think there's a different sensibility. I think they have a little more of that, like, don't embarrass yourself. And
they're not. I mean, they're doing things that are whatever, but they're not like flying off the handle. Like, they're just like...
Sometimes you kind of don't want to just get, like, don't fly off the handle and go be a screaming psychotic. Sometimes you can actually just have a calm conversation about it. And I think we could talk about, like, it's shot different. Yeah, it's shot differently. Like, the vibe is very different. They have very interesting, like, you can tell what must appeal to each audience more, because, like, there's definitely fewer of the, like, I mean, there aren't any real blow-ups that I know of, really. There's not really that I, like, so,
no.
Like,
I mean, there was one sort of with Francesca and Ciara, but even that was, like, mild compared with what you'd see on American TV. One thing I did notice though is, like, a lot of or 2 of the couples at least got engaged, got to the pod, saw each other, went on the honeymoon, and they still haven't said I love you. They're like waiting till they actually feel it, which I don't know if I agree or disagree with that, but it's interesting. It's different because I feel like in the American version we see them professing their undying love to each other before they meet. And here it's like some of them are just like, okay, we're engaged. I don't love you yet, but we're engaged. So it's just different.
Do you think that's a like a holdover from like the royal family ages where it was kind of like, well, you got to marry this person because we got to have an alliance or we're going to go to war. So, like, you marry her daughter or you marry their daughter. That's it because they're going to be the queen. And you're like, hey, they seem like a pretty cool person. So, like, fall in love and it'll be a cool person, or they'll be terrible and we'll hate each other. But, like, maybe it's because they're like, you don't always get married for love. Sometimes it's a duty. Like, you're like, I'm trying to do the thing. I don't know. I'm just riffing. I like to start international.
Yeah.
We're going to start international incident, blow up for it. So that's the goal.
That's what our podcast is going to be known
our
for.
Our commentary is going to be hot.
I think they're just not so quick to jump in with their feelings. Like, I think they're a little more authentic, obviously. Like,
I think they're not. I think they also don't have as much of a culture of, like, indulging that part of the reality. Like, you could go, like, it's like the Real Housewives effect. If you throw a drink in, like, I've still, to this day, been on this earth a while. Literally never seen someone throw a drink in someone's face ever in my life. Ever in person. Ever. And I've been a lot of places, people. So I was like, yeah, that's a drama. That's a, like, reality TV thing. So, like, yeah, I feel like they rein it in a little. They, like, keep it a little more sophisticated. A little, but it makes it, but here's the problem. It kind of makes me miss the Jimmies of the world that are just complete nightmare, cuckoo bananas idiots that are doing dumb stuff.
Know.
And you're like, oh, you're ruining your life, you moron. And sometimes that's fun for me.
We have Jack, though, who I feel like is as close to Jimmy as we're going to get this season. Yeah. Jack is this season's Jimmy, for sure.
Yeah. Sounds like we're moving to the couples. So let's move on to the couples. We're going to go couple by couple. And my screen just timed out. There we go. We're going to go couple by couple. So let's dive in. We're going to Sophie and Taylor first. And let me get...
this season's boring golden couple.
And retaining their... Sophie and Taylor, our boring couple of the season.
Like the boring golden couple, yes.
Staying boring and golden. Pretty much.
I do feel like all the girls, though, when they hear Sophie talk, they're like, oh, I wish my guy would treat me like Taylor treats you. Yeah. I feel like he's just the model fiance at this point. And then all of the other girls are comparing their relationship to Sophie and Taylor's.
Yeah, and rightfully so. No, like, I don't know. I do think there's a good point made. There was a conversation with Yasmin, so we can jump into that when we get to them, but like about like getting the flowers and stuff. But like they had a conversation and Jordan got the flowers. So, like, great. I think sometimes you just got to communicate those needs, but no, I think Taylor, like, seems genuine, seems dedicated, seems like a cool, like, now here's the thing. I don't know anything about either of these two. What do they do, Shelly? Who are they? What do they do for
Taylor?
Fun? What's their personality?
Is a tour guide of London. He's the #1 tour guide in London.
He's the #1 tour guide in London?
Yeah, you didn't notice from their date when he's showing her around London.
Yeah. I'm like,
yeah. Sophie, I don't know what Sophie does. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. All I can tell you is that Taylor's moving to, or looking at jobs in Manchester to be near Sophie. So I guess Manchester's where they're going to be living together.
It sounds like it.
His family is, thrilled for them, not so thrilled for themselves because they'll be losing Taylor. But everyone seems really supportive of them.
I felt sad a little bit because, like, his dad's kind of like, oh, that's like my best friend. And, like, his sister is like, oh, he really helps out with her kids a bunch, which is really sweet. So then again, I'm going to Google this while we're talking, but, like, I'm just going to double check, like, the driving distance from, like, London, because they're in London right now, right?
Yeah, I think it's a flight to get there to Manchester from London.
Oh, okay. Let me see. It's a 4-hour drive. Okay, 4-hour drive. That's a good distance. But, like, someone on here I think it was on here. I don't remember. One of the couples was like, "Oh, you're 45 minutes away. How could we ever blah 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 blah?" And I was like, "I've dated people an hour and 15 minutes away. GTFO. Get a country that's big.
Get a state that's big."
I know, like Texas is like 5 or 6 England, so like let alone. So like, get out of here. Like you can drive that far stuff, and you have public transportation. But no, these guys, like, I think they're genuinely really sweet. I think she seems awesome, like, and great.
Yeah.
I love her to death. She seems like their families seem really sweet and cool. I don't know, man. They seem great. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're gonna both say I do. I think they're getting married. End of story. I'm rooting for them to get married. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more like I don't know what I can even analyze on these two because they just seem so in sync with each other. They're very locked in.
This guy's like, yeah, we decided to move to Manchester, so I already got 2 interviews.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I get interviews after interviews. So I was like, who's this guy?
Yeah, we need to look up what he does for work because I need to switch to that career because I'm like
whatever he does, that. You can be in Manchester tomorrow.
Yeah, they need whatever he's doing in Manchester. They're desperate for it, whatever he provides.
Yeah, or he's really good at it. Also, he's a charming, ripped.
He's a charming, good-looking guy. Yeah,
he's got opportunity, so good for him. But yeah, I'm like, damn, dude, slay! Like this guy's got.
He's serious. Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I think that's awesome. I think good for them. I think they'll probably make it.
I think so too. I think we'll see them at reunion together and happy, most likely.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really have much else to say about them. So if we want to switch to the next couple, do we have anything else for them, or do we want to move to Yasmin and Jordan, get in a little more ish?
I think we can move on to we can move to Yasmin and Jordan.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to switch here. Yasmin and Jordan. Oof. Rough.
Yeah, so they are one of the couples that hasn't said I love you yet. I think, according to them, they're behind all the other couples, whatever that means. It doesn't look like Jordan's... I mean, he's even saying, like, the spark isn't there. Whatever spark he feels like he needs to feel to say I love you. It's not there. Yeah. And Yasmin, obviously, this is her first relationship. The first person she's presumably going to say I love you too romantically. So yeah, I think for him, he doesn't want to mess it up for her or say something that's not true because it's going to be her first. And I don't think he wants to be remembered as someone who befuddled it, understandably so. So I think he's trying to look out for her feelings. Like, I do think he is genuine. I do think he does have a lot of care for her. I just don't think he's in love with her.
Yeah. And I don't know. This is a tough one because to me, it's like, could have seen this coming. Like, it's just as simple as, I don't care what anyone says. Like, it's stupid. The whole like, body count or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, hey man, someone who hasn't dated anyone ever probably needs to have some experience. Like, you don't get good at a relationship by magic. It's not just because you like a person that means you're good at it. You have to practice relationships. And part of that is like figuring out who your person is and who your person isn't. And to her, I felt like she doesn't know that. And again, jumping into this show where you're going to presumably get married, and based on their conversation in the episode, I got the impression not like I'm a virgin. It was like, I've never slept with another human being in the same bed as me. Yeah. And that freaks her out. And I'm like, that is not... Now, look, do whatever you want. You have all the rights in the world to make terrible life decisions for yourself. But in reality, it's really a bad idea for that to be what's happening on your honeymoon. You should probably be comfortable enough to at least sleep in the same bed once. And if that's culturally your thing, that's fine, but it's going to be like exponentially harder than if you just like are comfortable with the person before you move to new levels of intimacy. And so, practically speaking, do whatever you want, but don't do that if you want like a better experience. You got to like move slowly through the process. Don't go from never dating to like, let's get married.
Yeah, this is why this show isn't the best for her, I don't think. Like, I think she took a risk. She came on the show. She wanted to see what it was going to be like, but she is being forced in a little bit in some way to jump into all these things where she's not ready. Like, if they met in the real world, they probably would not be sharing a bed 2 weeks later.
No.
As for her,
which is reasonable. And again, that's why I'm saying, like, don't go on this show, because it shows me you're not ready. It shows me she doesn't have the like, she doesn't know what she doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is gonna be way worse like, this is way harder now. Please don't do that to yourself. That's not a good idea.
Also,
sometimes you gotta go through some chuds on the apps. You don't have to sleep with them, but you can go on some really days with chuds. Grind them out. Get some bad dates out of the way.
Yeah. I don't blame her for not wanting to go through that, honestly. But also, I feel like she's very focused on if Jordan's going to choose her. Like, I don't know that she's thinking if she really wants to be with Jordan, other than it's the show and that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't know if she's actually choosing him, or she's just choosing him because it's the show and he's there. Because he doesn't seem to be choosing her, and she's gotten which is so understandable. Like, I would totally do the same thing. Like, if you kind of like somebody, or in her case, potentially love somebody, you're more focused on their feelings towards you, and you don't even have time to think about how you feel about them. And I think she's got caught up in that cycle where she hasn't even evaluated like her feelings for him, really. She's just so focused on what he's doing, how they're comparing to the other couples, what Taylor's doing, etc. So I feel like and especially this, like, pressure cooker, whatever, how many weeks this is, like, she hasn't even had time to sit down and think.
All the other people, and here's the thing, this is the thing, she's actually, who was she talking to? Was it her? Oh, it wasn't Faye. Darn it. There was someone they were talking to. She was, like, Yasmin was talking to someone and was, like, giving them advice, and I was like, yeah, see, like, you can do it with other people. Like, you can.
Well, it's like, so easy to give other people advice.
Exactly,
and it's so hard to see your own stuff. It's so hard to see your own stuff. Yeah. It's so much easier to see what other people need to do. Yes.
Exactly. It's exactly. So I don't blame her, but I was kind of like, yeah, see, like, I think she's just got, but I think it's a learning. Like, I'm not digging her for doing it. I think it's just putting yourself at, like, way too much risk. I would not do it.
Yeah.
That's not my personality. I do think like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think I'm pretty sure it's written that way in the Bible, that, like, you are allowed to physically sleep in a bed with another person and not have sex together, and that's, like, not against the rules. So even if you're like, hey, the Bible tells me I'm not allowed to do it, that's why I'm not doing it, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to, like, just sleep in the same bed, so at least you're comfortable being in the presence of another person while sleeping. Because I'm telling you, people don't think that's... unless you're in, maybe, I don't know, is that like a neurotypical thing where you can just, like, sleep in somebody's bed without it, like, being a supremely difficult scenario?
I don't know. Was it religion based? I thought it was more like she just hasn't had the opportunity to do that because she hasn't dated anybody.
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't know it had anything to do with religion.
Well, I don't know. I'm saying, like, I don't know. I assume maybe it is. I don't know. I
assumed it was just because, she just doesn't have the opportunity to.
I guess, but, like, I don't know. You haven't slept.
Because I think if it was religion, she would refuse to sleep with him in the same bed, period. But she's like, okay, we can sleep in the same bed. I'm just going to take a while to warm up to you. So that makes me think it's not religious reasons. It's just like she hasn't had the chance. Yeah, well,
that's why I'm saying, like, at worst. Like, I was arguing. I'm not saying that's her position per se. I'm saying, like, even if that's your position and you're like, this is the reason we can't sleep together and be sleeping together. I was like, yeah. I mean, actually sharing a physical space together. You gotta, like, it's really hard for me. Like, I do not sleep well the first time I'm sleeping with a new partner. It's, like, literally physically sleeping next to them. It's really difficult sometimes. And so, like, I think, again, I don't know, man. Like, you don't just pick up a guitar and be like, I'm Jimi Hendrix, and, like, play amazing guitar riffs. Like, you have to practice. You got to go out with people. You got to do these things, and you don't just jump into the final step and be like, yeah, this is gonna work. Like, that's crazy.
On the flip side, though, she might be the most normal person on this show, because it is so weird to share a bed with somebody that you just met a couple of days ago. I mean, people do it all the time. I get that, but, like, it is. I mean, the whole experience is weird, to get engaged to somebody you don't see, to, like, profess your love to them,
it's
to,
entirely
like,
weird.
Yeah. And then to like go like, okay, now we're sharing a bed together because guess what? We're engaged and we just met maybe 3 days ago for the first time for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I don't fault her for that. It does look like he definitely called off the wedding. The wedding's off.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if maybe they were going to stay together and try to work it out because he didn't
I think
officially
he's out.
like break up with her.
I
Yeah,
think
well, he
he's
didn't
out.
say I don't want to be with you. He said I don't want the wedding. So I don't know.
Oh,
I feel like they could.
I think it's kind of like not. I think he's just not there. I think he's just not going to get there with her. I think he's
Yeah.
just like that's not my person. And the whole
Yeah.
like there, he kept claiming it was distance. Oh, it's distance, it's distance, it's distance. And then he's
Yeah.
like, well, maybe it's not. Maybe that's an excuse. I do appreciate he had the conversation. It's not great that you got the read that that it wasn't a breakup, because that means I feel like he was doing I'm trying to be nice, so I'm not gonna make it sound like it. Who was that? There was someone a few seasons ago that kept. Oh,
Yeah.
the one who didn't think the guy was attractive when they met, and she was like, "No, no, no, I don't find you attractive, but we're not broken up, kinda." And I was like, "Oh no!" So like sometimes I think depending on the interaction, people sometimes, and I think you gave him like the generous read, but to me, I was like, "Oh, he's out." Like
I think it was like so ambiguous. So like I think they did that on purpose.
Sure.
Because it could go either way. So we don't know because like we're gonna tune into the reunion and see, where they are. Yeah, because they left it so like like I don't want the wedding, but not necessarily because he never said those words, I don't want you, but he also didn't say I want to be with you. Like he left it totally ambiguous. Or editing did or whatever. Maybe he was more straightforward with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a small possibility they continue dating after the show, perhaps.
I think they're donezo, and I think they should be. I don't think they're, again, I don't know anything about these people. I don't know what they do for fun. I don't know who they are as people. What are their hobbies? What are they like? I literally don't know anything about any of these people, and I find that quite strange. For example, if nothing else, for the Denver season, we at least had what's his name with the like. At least that season, there's like a weirdo dude who's like, "Yes, this is my crazy cabin with insane man toys, like this complete car simulator." And you're like, "See, car simulator. I know something about you now." But these people, I'm like, I feel like their personality is just being posh and cool. And I'm like, that's not really a personality. That's just like that's just an attitude. So like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if they're a good fit because I don't know what either of them seems to want, other than she doesn't want to have to grind through the awfulness of dating a bunch of people. I mean, rightfully, but you got to do it. Unfortunately, it's just the way it works. And then he's like, I'm not into it, but I'm trying to be nice. And I think he's just, I think he's gonna. Yeah. That's my guess. I think she's great. I don't want people to feel like I'm dogging on her. I just think she's like, don't try to cheat. Don't cheat the system. Like you gotta go date like normally. Don't go on this show.
Well, she will have absolutely no problem getting dates after this.
Fine.
She's fine. Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, like, it really sucks though that she's like insecure about her skin, because like she's legitimately gorgeous like all the time.
Yeah, she's so pretty.
It's like crazy. Yeah. And so like and like I really like, I don't know, she had a hairdo in one, she kind of had her hair in a different style one of the times, and I was like, whoa, it like really accentuated her face really nicely. I was like, but I understand why she didn't. I think it was like straightened, and that's like a whole mess that I don't know how long that would take with curly hair. So like, I don't know, hours. But yeah, I was like, whoa, that's gorgeous. I understand why you don't do that every day. Probably sucks to like generate that style. But yeah, she's gorgeous. She's not going to have a problem. I don't think she's a bad person. I don't think she's dumb. I think she was just a little naive and had hoped. I think her hopes got the best of her and hoped for like a dream scenario, but you'll never get your dream scenario in Love is Blind. If you're not like,
unless you're Sophie and Taylor.
Unless you're really self-aware and you did go through all the terrible choices, because you can see many of these people are making terrible choices because they haven't had that experience yet. We'll get to you later. We'll get to those couples later. But no, I hope the best for both of them. I think they're both good, very good people. I think they're just not each other's.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just not each other's person.
Who do we want to move to next? Are we going to Ciara and Ajay?
Yeah, we'll do them next.
All right. Ciara and Ajay, the posh couple of this is the poshest of posh couples this season. Va 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 voom. They're both so staggeringly well done up. I don't know. I was looking for a fashion word and I was like, well done is not correct. That is not
well done. They're not a steak. They're a very striking couple.
They are. They look good together. I mean, there's that. But boy, they had some challenges.
Yeah, they definitely did. So AJ, as we know, is a former banker. And so that's, he's made it clear again several times over that he can't be affording to pay $300 or £300 for every dinner or take her to Wimbledon or wherever, she's used to with these other guys, which I do kind of question. It could go one of two ways, right? Like she got engaged to AJ knowing this about him, knowing that he's a former banker and wants to start his own fitness company or whatever it is, or fitness studio. And so she has to know it's going to take him a while to build all that up. Like he's not coming in day one with the 300-pound dinners that she's used to. Yeah. My other question about her, she was also into Jack for a while, who is a chef / I don't know. He has 13 other jobs that I can't even think of her name, but he's not like.
Also, by the way, chef, and then like, anyway, we'll talk about that. But like when he got to the face,
now he's going to sales.
They were like, "What are you gonna do?" And he was like, "Sales." I think that suits my personality. And I was like, "You're a 30-year-old with no experience," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna do it." And I'm like, "Bud,"
and he'll probably get the opportunity to after the show. Let's be honest.
Some idiot. Like, well, look. Honestly, he's got a little bit of recognition. He could sell stuff because, look, if it works, it works. You do what you do, right? If he can get sales off his little bit of fame from it, do it. But like, I don't know what it is. Yeah. So banker, like ex-banker now, he doesn't want to, so by the way, just in case I didn't know what the current conversion is, 300 pounds is $400. So like, I think, what do you think? Since we had the discussion last time of like, is she expecting too much? She said her minimum expectation on a first date is a $400 dinner. Is that reasonable?
Depends on the dinner, depends on the place, depends on the guy. I feel like one date, maybe, but you can't expect that every single date.
Wait, no, I'm saying if your rule is, if the guy doesn't take you to that, it sounds like she's like the minimum agreeable dinner is $400. So your first
No,
date.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So this is where it's an interest. So I was thinking about it just now. I don't know. Maybe she had, I keep forgetting. Sometimes people put on airs because they like to be the brat, but the brat wants to get like put in their place a little. It is a dynamic for some couples. And so I felt like she pushed and pushed and pushed to see how far she could push him. And the goal is, well, is he just gonna let me like bend him around my finger and whatever I say goes? Yeah. In that case, she loses respect for you. And then she starts being like, well, I guess I'll use your money, but I don't respect you. But I think, because I think she ultimately wants him to be like, all right, no, like I am gonna tell you no occasionally. And she's kind of like, that's sexy. I think she's kind of like secretly a little bit like, I get it. I can't be a psycho. Because she did apologize. Is her apology? Because she did come back and say like, I'm sorry. It wasn't.
She said, I'm being completely unreasonable. I'm trying to self-sabotage.
It was her not being empathetic, and they didn't show what she said about his parents not wanting to meet on camera for the first time.
Right. And then his parents do meet her on camera afterwards. I do wonder if like she was just trying to manifest this lifestyle, that she like really wants this kind of lifestyle. And so she's putting it out in the universe. She's putting it out to AJ. Like maybe, she's like, if I put this out there enough, I can find AJ will become the guy that does all these things. But he's clearly told her several times over that he's
like,
just not this guy.
This. Yeah.
And I don't know if she's not walking away because, it's genuine love or because she feels like an asshole walking away at this point.
It's a great question.
Because he's told her flat out, like, this is what you want. You're not going to get it from me.
Yeah.
And she's not going to get it for a couple of years from him. Like,
but that's the thing. Like, is it any better if her response is, look, I'm fine for now. Look, I'm not saying, like, people like to use the, like, they always like to take things and go to these, like, crazy extremes. So they'll be like, oh, so what are you saying? He could just not work and be poor and she should be happy about it? He just sits on the couch all day and she does all the stuff? And I'm like, no, I'm not saying that.
No.
I'm saying if you expect him to make all the money and put you in a lifestyle and your only contribution is your presence, that doesn't really seem like a fair partnership. That doesn't seem like a partnership. That just seems like a sugar daddy. And
I couldn't tell because she's a Pilates instructor, I think. So I don't know what they make. I don't know if she makes more money than the average Pilates instructor.
Not that much, Shelly.
Because
I know several Pilates instructors, and they're not the ones making the bank. And I'm in the land of Pilates. Herbs.
Either way, she's like basically saying that she's like affording her lifestyle in some kind of way. Like she's affording to get her hair done, her nails done, everything, like all that stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think she just expects to be treated a certain way. He's made it clear that he can't. She's still stucking around. So not really sure what that's about. So not sure if, like, she genuinely, like I said, genuinely loves him, or she's just, doesn't want to look like a piece of shit and walk away because it's all about the money.
Yeah, and it also feels like she does. I mean, so maybe I'm giving her the generous read that on the, like, she was actually sorry, but yeah, maybe she's just like, oh, I just don't want to look bad, which is possibly true. She also just stirs constantly with everybody. Like, what was I was having trouble.
She's the most interesting part of this season. If she wasn't on this show this season, I don't know where this show would be. She's by far the most interesting, I was going to say character person that we have on the show, I feel like.
I think you nailed it, though. I think she's a character. I think she's doing a British version of American reality TV shitster. So instead of the confrontation getting a drink thrown in her face, the confrontation is like snide comments at this dinner party while they're all right there in your face. And they heard it. And I'm like, so many of the things, it seems like the real consequence of the actions is like, oh my God, they're having this conversation at the dinner table? Oh, gosh. And I'm like, you guys are all about, like, social etiquette penalties for things. That's why it doesn't work as well for America, I feel like, some people like it, but I do think it misses a little of I don't want the total craziness, but I want a little, I hate the little snide undermining stuff. I'm just like, why do people believe this? Or pretend to believe it?
Yeah. Well, she decides Diwali is apparently taking place during the filming of the show. So she decides to help him celebrate that and does, like, a really cute, I thought it was really adorable what she did for him. Awesome. So that makes me think that she is into him somewhat, because she definitely didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And so she's, like, trying to learn about, Indian culture from him. And I feel like that does, like, I don't know why she would do that if she wasn't into him somewhat.
Yeah.
Because there's no bonus there.
Not into him at all. I think that's the thing, right? Why wouldn't she be? He's, like, super jacked, tall as hell, like, tall, dark, and like, I'm a ripped former basketball. Like, he is, like, come on, man. Anyone's gonna want to date this guy. And so, like, but I think as long as she kind of, like, dials in that, like, money is the mate, like, that's what brings you happiness, that's what I need to be happy, we have to be spending all this money all the time. I just think that, like he said, it's okay now, but, like, also he doesn't want that pressure of, like, I think it's, look, I dig on how the bar is very low these days for most men, but, like, I think the minimum a man can ask for is at least, like, you should like me as a person, and if I lose my job, I don't want to have to worry about being abandoned because I'm not making the money anymore. Like, enough money, right? Like, are we starving? And I know financial trouble causes other problems, but like, again, to me, it's if we're not going to $400 dinners, I'm leaving you because I'm worth more than that. And I don't think anyone deserves or is owed $400 dinners routinely if you're in a relationship. Like, it's a nice to have if you have that money.
Right.
And if you have that money, don't just be like, we never go out. Because a lot of guys are lazy. They have the money and they just literally are like, just, the effort. But like, he puts in effort. I think he's a genuine nice guy. He actually seems like,
well, he's making her coffee every morning.
This
like, she asked for it and he's doing it.
Make me a coffee. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, and he does it. I'm like, dang, why do I not try these things? Why do I hold back so much? I'm like, oh, I don't want to inconvenience you. Like, let me get my own stuff. Yeah, I need to start being like more like Ciara. She's a model citizen there.
Look, I admit, I think we should see more scenes of women doing yoga and asking for a coffee while a man sweeps. I think that's okay. That's an okay thing to show. Because, hey, you can sweep, you can vacuum too, guys. Your arms aren't broken. So, like, I get it. So, like, I think that dynamic can be sweet and fun. Like, there's a playfulness in it to some degree.
Yeah, I think she's very sarcastic. I think she likes banter with him. I think she likes to give him a hard time for fun, like, is what I think.
Yeah, and I think she kind of likes putting her place a little bit where it's a little exciting for her. She wants to push back here and there, and that's a dynamic. I know people with that dynamic, and, it works for them. So,
yeah.
Maybe they'll work out. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think he actually gets married? Do you think they actually get married?
I know they want to get married. I think they're very sincere because, like, he did give his family. He did give his parents. It's called.
That was adorable.
They're really sweet. They're so sweet. Like, he gave them what's called matai, so that means like that's a big sign that he's like really serious.
Really?
To give them sweets. So is that an Indian,
tradition? I didn't know anything about. So I know Diwali because I love Diwali. One of my favorite times of the year because Indian restaurants do the best buffets during Diwali all the time. It's my favorite.
It's all about the food.
So it's all about the food. For me, I don't know anything about the religious aspect. Is it religious or secular? I don't actually. Anyway, I don't know much about.
I don't know. It is a thing. Like, to get invited to a wedding, like you would get, like if you're having a wedding, you would present sweets and you would give an invitation like that. Like, that is genuine. Okay, so to me, he's like serious about getting married because he's doing that to his parents.
So then I'm gonna guess they get married, unless something goes disastrously wrong.
Which it looks like from the preview, something goes disastrously wrong. So I don't know. Honestly, I didn't watch.
I don't remember the previews from them. I only remember like the one preview is the one that I was like.
It sounds like they get another fight, so I don't know if that makes or breaks them.
Yeah, it may.
His intentions are very sincere if he's giving that to his family. I will say that.
Then I'm gonna say my prediction is she either. Maybe he might call it off.
I don't think she's going to call it off, though. I don't think she will. I think he's going to have to be the one to call it off. I don't think she's going to do it.
I think she probably does something that sets him off where he's like, I said that this was, I don't know.
But they might get married. I don't know. I don't know what their fight is about yet. Yeah. Like, all I saw was a preview, so I don't know if it's, what it is.
I'm dying to watch later. Definitely going to catch up on that tonight. I gotta see.
Yeah, I probably will too. Actually, I'll probably stay up watching it because I got
invested in this season now. Damn it! So
yeah, I'm really invested in this couple for some reason. I don't know why, but
they're okay. I don't know.
Taylor and Sophie, we know are getting married, and Jordan and Yasmin broke up. So far, they're the only couple that like I'm on so much on the fence about. Like, will they or won't they?
Yeah. These two, very hit or miss. These is my least confident prediction by far. By far.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens to them. I don't have anything else. Do we want to move to our next couple?
Yeah, let's move on to Ryan and Cuba. Our spiritual couple who's gotten no screen time together because Ryan has a lot going on in his life. This dude, this is not a good time for him to be doing Love is Blind.
This is not a good time for me. Well, I feel bad because I literally said, like, I feel awful because I was like, if his grandma doesn't actually die, this man is just the most avoidant man on earth to be like, oh, the business trip, I had to go, and then now my grandma's sick, so I gotta go instead of be here. But then I was like, if his grandma doesn't die, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, this guy's a jerk. But then it was like, oh, his grandma died yesterday, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, that's awful. Like, that means that actually is really sad and awful.
Yeah.
But everything he did before it, not really great. His lead
no, well, I don't obviously
scenario, not a great. They're not having a good time.
No, I mean, obviously he didn't predict his grandmother was going to get sick and die while he's on this show, because that's a lot. So he may have, but I mean, before that, him taking the trip, all right, fine. I guess he already had that planned and something he couldn't get out of. It's more his behavior when he got back. Like, I understand he needs time to decompress. But also, like, he only has so much time to decide if he wants to marry this woman. So something's got to give somewhere. Like,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of pulling the, like, therapy speak, like weaponizing therapy speak, where he's kind of like, no, what you're stepping on my, like, after I perform, I'm used to having a few days to recharge. And I'm like, a few days? What exactly is it you're doing? Because, like, the Cirque du Soleil, the Cirque du Soleil, those guys are doing that 7 nights a week in Vegas. They're not tired. They go on dates with their partner, you loser. I was like, you're just kind of a selfish butthole who wants someone around when it's convenient, it feels like.
Yeah, like, she's gotten, this girl, Cuba, has had to be so understanding towards him because of all the things he's gone through, and rightfully so. Like, the grandmother passing away, obviously.
I mean, the grandmother, I think just
she's had to, like,
I was not on his side until his
just like kind of sit there by herself and wait for him to come back. And again, she's waiting for him to come back. So I don't see these two getting married. Maybe they'll sit together and, like, continue to date, maybe, but I do not see them getting married. Like, I think she's gonna call it off.
I think he seemed kind of like a douche in the pods, but I gave him benefit of the doubt and thought maybe he's not a douche. He seemed kind of but I think he's just kind of a selfish douche and uses this spirituality as a cover to make him seem cooler than he actually is, and so he can be a selfish prick.
Yeah.
That's my read on him. I don't actually think he's a very good person. I think he has a lot of work to do. I just think he's and is like, I'm just really, like, the next
he's very self-centered. He's like, I need this, I need time.
Yeah,
well, great, you need time, I get that, but, like, she needs to feel you're about to, like, marry this woman, presumably. Like, you got to put that aside a little bit and give her, like, a little bit of what she needs or what she's looking for. Like, you can't expect her to say yes when you've barely spent any time with her.
I mean, also, I think for her, like, to criticize her just a little bit, it's up to her to also say, I'm not putting up with this. Get the out of here. Like,
well, I don't think she feels in any position to say that, like, while his grandmother just passed away. So I feel like,
well, the grandmother thing, but like, she was like being way too nice about this, like, coming. She was like,
it's somebody she barely knows, so she's, like, trying to figure out how to, navigate this. She doesn't really know him, so she's gonna be nice and polite.
I thought she was really reasonable in the bed. Like, the conversation before the grandma thing, it was like, she was being very, like, okay, but, like, he didn't even, she comes out the first morning, presumably. I guess it could have been the edit. But, like, it seemed very contiguous that he was just, like, on his phone, and, like, she comes out of the bedroom in the morning. So, like, imagine this. You're dating someone you actually like. You've known this person a month. This is where we also got to, like, we always give them the leniency of, like, it's an extreme situation, and you're like, with these people, okay, that means your feelings are extra, right? So imagine a person who's meeting the love of their life to get married, the perfect Love is Blind match, and they come back from a work trip for 4 days and are like, in the morning they see their partner and this is what they get. Anyone that's texting on their phone and just gives you an eye glance because they're, quote, so tapped out from performing, I'm like, then maybe get a better job, sir. Or don't date a person because you don't, like, what if you have kids?
You don't have the capacity to date, clearly.
Like, yeah, you don't have the capacity. If you're such a child that you don't have that capacity, great. Be your own self-centered man-child. But, like, that's a bad sign. You don't like your partner if you literally went 4 days after a month together and you go 4 days after being together all the time, and then you're kind of like, baby, get away from me. I'm like, that's not a good sign. You usually want to see the person when you get home. And if you don't, it's a bad sign.
No, I think she's going to call it off, but maybe not because of the whole grandmother situation, but one of them's going to call it off. Like, I do not see them getting married.
I think she's going to.
They might date potentially, but I feel like because they haven't had enough time together either way.
Yeah.
So they might just be like, let's not get married and date, but like they're not getting married.
Yeah, no, they're not getting married. There's no way. I don't know if they should date or not. I think it just depends how. I don't know. I think he doesn't want a partner. I think he wants a convenient person around when it's convenient for him, and that's great if you're not telling someone you're wrong for wanting to, like, I gotta have my me time, baby. And it's like, yes, people need their space. People should have healthy activities, but you're also choosing to spend at 20 something, presumably 50 something years together. So yeah, maybe you should spend some time together and not just be on your phone around for a few days.
Yeah, maybe you should figure out like how you feel about her and if this is legit for both of you.
Yeah, so either that or he's like, I'm so in. Yeah, I don't know. I just think he pretends to be sensitive, but I think he's just a kind of a selfish.
Yeah.
It's not.
So yeah, I don't think they get married.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she does.
She sounds awesome, but
yeah,
I don't know.
She does. But yeah, I don't think nothing happens between these two. That somebody calls it off.
Yeah, they ain't gonna make it. And my condolences to his family and Grant. Like, that's really sad.
Yeah,
that's awful. Like,
that's terrible to like be on the show and have to go through that and like get back on camera and like that's a lot he has to go through. So, but yeah, they don't make it.
I will say though, I was in my 20s and started dating someone, and 2 grandparents died within 3 months of each other. Guess what?
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's 25 years ago. It's okay. Like, I appreciate it, but like, it was a long time ago. It's okay now. It really sucked. But at the same time, you know what I wanted to do? Hug that person.
Yeah.
I was like, my grandma died. I'm so sad. Hug me. I'm so glad to get to spend time with you. Not like, and I get it. Like, he was going to the funeral. I get, like, but I just mean, like, in comparison to the work trip, I feel like when the work trip, he should not have been as tapped out. And so I feel like the grandma thing is just going to break it, because he's going to be like, I need X whatever. And she's just going to be like, why am I here? Like, okay, go do your thing.
Also, is it weird that she's not with him at this point? Because like in a real life situation, you're only known someone a month. No, you probably wouldn't go to the funeral, but like they're about to be married. So is it weird that she's not there? Because I feel like she should be. I don't know if that was his decision or her decision, or they made that decision together. But I feel like if you're going to get married to someone, shouldn't you be there for this kind of stuff?
I don't know, because apparently I'm a weirdo. So I'd like to say my inclination is, yeah, that's weird, right?
Yeah, I think it's weird. Yeah.
I would think he'd be like, oh my God, this is awful. And
you're the person I'm going to lean on the rest of my life, presumably, if we get married. So, like, why wouldn't you start now? Like, I know it's awkward. I know he has only known her a month, but they're about to get married in a few weeks, so the whole situation's awkward. So why not bring her along? So I don't know if who made that decision or if they both made that decision, but I feel like it's a little odd that she's not there with him.
I think it's a sign. Again, I think he's avoidant as hell and doesn't admit it, but I think he's just super avoidant, and it got close and got real. And I think the work trip is an excuse for him to just disengage and pull away. And then, or he's just that selfish. And then the grandma thing, I think, is just indicates to me that like he doesn't want, like he's not. I don't know if he does have that connection, because if it was like, unless I'm, again, admittedly, I'm a weirdo. I do not think like other people. Apparently, I've discovered this very much recently. So like, I I think I would want that person with me, not.
Yeah, I think I would too.
So
So
to
I
me,
don't know.
very strange. I think it just
Yeah.
indicates he's like, it's another way of being like, oh, maybe that was it. So Jordan, that was the thing with Jordan. I actually think he and Ryan were two men trying to get their partner to break up with them. They're like, if I just sound unsure enough for a while, they'll
Yeah.
break up with me. And then I'm not
Yeah.
the bad guy. And I think Ryan is using these as excuses to be like, see, we're just not so like, I just think he just doesn't want the responsibility to be like, I don't think this is for me. Or he just hopes she's okay with it and thinks maybe
I
she's
think he just
okay
wants
with
her to be
life.
okay with it. Yeah, I think he just wants her to be like really okay with his lifestyle. Like he gets to do whatever he wants.
Which
And
is
the person
why.
just has to be really okay with it.
Yeah.
Like for someone so spiritual, he needs a little more guidance there, I feel like.
Yeah. I that's why I think a lot of that is narcissists and sociopaths latch on to some concepts in it because it's easy to manipulate. Like it's easy to pretend those things and then it will
Yeah.
bond you with people, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how many times is like, if any male presenting person says, I don't think astrology is stupid, like I know there's like some percentage of women that are like, that guy's immediately way awesomer because he's not going to yell at me about astrology, which is a fair, like a lot of guys get very upset about that. And so like, yeah, I think there's a part of it where he's like, if I pretend to be spiritual enough, it will trick women into thinking I'm sensitive while I'm being a selfish narcissist. Happens a lot.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the situation in his case. I think he is spiritual. I think he's just a little bit selfish, a little bit like he's used to having things his way. He's used to like he's not used to being in a relationship. He's like used to going
Yeah.
off and doing his work gigs and coming home and decompressing and not having somebody there. Like he doesn't know how to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And
But isn't
so
that
I
like against the whole spirit? Like, isn't that the point of spirituality, is to make you like be a better person? So if you're just a really selfish person, is that, it's not really working? You're not, like, he's not really
it's
doing
not
this.
working because I don't think he's had to do this before. I don't think he's like been in this situation before. Like
That's crazy. Like the entitlement of someone to be like, yes, that's right, I expect none of my life to be disrupted by incorporating another person into it. That's delusion.
yeah,
That's delusion.
it is.
You know,
It is, but I feel like he falls more on that than I would anything else. Like I think he just doesn't.
I don't know. I got a vibe from him in the pods, and now I'm thinking might be a guy. I'm gonna double
Might
down and
be.
say I think he might be a guy deep down. Could be wrong, but my spidey senses are tingling. I think he's not a nice person. I don't think he's a kind person. He might be a nice person, but I don't think he's a kind person.
Either way, they're not married.
They
They may
ain't
be
getting
together.
married
I
and they
doubt
shouldn't.
it. I feel like they may have dated a little bit after the show. I don't think because I don't know how long the reunion is after for the UK version, but if it's a
Yeah,
year after, I don't think they're together. If it's a couple months after, like I think they gave it a
they could be.
shot. Is my guess. Is they try to give it a shot
Yeah,
because
I
they
would
didn't
say
get a
so.
fair shot.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine they're still together. I just don't think they're a fit.
No. No.
And I do think, I honestly, at this point, I don't know what. I honestly don't. I can't imagine him not being so. Like, I'm like, I don't think you're ready for a relationship, and that just seems crazy to me.
No.
And that you're trying so hard. Like,
Yeah.
you are not ready if that's your attitude. Like, you just like,
And maybe sometimes people just have to go on the show to figure that out for themselves.
yeah. So maybe
No.
we'll grow. We'll see. Um, and then we're on to. Are we going to move on? Do we have anything else for them? I don't think.
No, we can move on to Jack and Faye.
Jack and Faye. Oh my god! All right, let me switch over to Jack real quick so we can get to our disaster couple.
Oh my god, Jack! This is the picture you have of him.
Jack and Faye.
Yay!
This is the picture I have of him because Shelly. That's the official picture on the Netflix to dumb.com article. This is the what he chose similar to his engagement. Actually, that might be from that's
his engagement outfit.
That's Shelly.
That's his engagement outfit that he wore. That's the nicest thing he owns, by the way. I decided.
Notice hers, cause like what's happening? She's in like this. Also, by the way, what's going on with... We should have talked about that. God, we need like a red carpet episode. Because I'm going to say, not a fan of the proposal dresses this season. I don't even think about mentioning that. But God, they look really prom dressy to me. Was that just...
That might just be the style there.
It's like...
That might just be the style
with like pastels that look... I was like, I don't know... Put on some Kaja Goo Goo and do the, I don't know an 80s dance. Electric Slide? Was that in the 80s or 70s? I don't know. So yeah, I thought, but like, oh, so yeah, these two. Prediction.
Whoa. Oh, they're not married. I actually don't know if it's because he calls it off or she should call it off. But I don't think he wants to be married, so he might.
I think they showed a different set of hands at the preview at the beginning of the series, because I'm pretty sure the one that just doesn't show up on the wedding day is Jack. He just
it is, yeah.
He just doesn't show up. He just God knows where.
He goes for another walk. That's where he is. He's on a walk.
This Forrest Gumps into like the ether for like 6 months, and then he comes back and is like, baby, I had to take a walk and unfind my friends with you. And you're like, what are you doing, you psycho? Like,
I question if he was really on a walk, because that's so bizarre. Like, he has his phone on the walk, clearly, so it's like, why is he not answering? Or why? So many questions there. Just very bizarre. And he walks, but then he has to Uber back? Like, he couldn't walk back?
This is my favorite. This is my favorite. And this is how you know someone's a lying piece of shit. It's real easy. It's really easy. Step one. They lie. And you know it. Because it makes absolutely no logical sense what they did. And then, if you wear here's the thing. If you wear them down, and you will wear them down, because liars cannot maintain, unless you're a complete psychopath, with limitless energy, you cannot maintain this lie forever. And he doesn't either, and I prove it. There's an actual scene. If someone wants to see a full breakdown, I will tell you how to spot liars, and I should just do a whole series on this. He goes, I don't know. I didn't find my friend off. I didn't find my friends. I didn't turn it off. I didn't turn it off. I didn't turn it off. In the exact same conversation, eventually he goes, she's like, why did you turn it off? You have to go in and turn it off. It does not turn off on its own. And his response, and this is how you know he was lying all along, it's called going off grid, baby. It's called going off grid? You loser moron. That's admitting you lied. You just went, it's called going off grid, because she finally got you to admit you're a liar. And then you go, well, it's called going off grid, change the goalpost. You're like, that guy is a lying freak. And so get the out of here. Call him what he is. He's a loser jerk. Get him the out of here.
Well, we knew that from the first couple episodes. The way he, And I mean, he's clearly lying about Ciara. Like, we know he's lying. Ciara never said, you're my number one. She did not say that.
And I hate, exactly. She never said that. And then he keeps going around to the dinner table and being like, hey man, I'm going to do the little like passive aggressive. I just want to have a talk, bro, and like clear the air. And I'm like, shut the up and go big. Like Faye's like, leave it alone. And he's like, no, I got to be a man.
So we know for sure that he lied about Ciara. We know that. So most likely he's lying about going on the walk. So who knows what he did for those 3 hours. It's really weird though, because presumably he left at like what, 5:30, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
was he going to meet somebody else at that time? Because that's a weird
Absolutely.
time for a booty call. That's a really
100%.
weird time for a booty call.
Not for a chef. In my not. Not.
Oh,
Oh, it's not. I'm privy to some stories of the underground, not under, like the restaurant scene in North Carolina. Um
oh,
it was
great.
someone I worked with was very into the scene, and they told me tons of stories. So a lot of chefs got off work at like 2 or 3 a.m. and they had created a washing machine walk. Like they used a washing machine to put the like super turkey cooking burner. Like you have to have, for true wok cooking, you have to have like 50,000 beat, like some crazy burner. And he showed me pictures, but they were up until like 6 or 7 in the morning partying on Saturday nights and stuff. Like it was
Hmm.
common for the food scene to, like, the stuff closes down by 1, you're done at work at 1 or 2, and then they just hang out and party for hours. So,
Yeah.
and here is my favorite. I get slides are like flip flops without right. That's what they're talking about, right? Like
Yeah, yeah. I think
sandals.
they're talking about
That's
like
what
who
they
goes
meant,
for a
right?
walk
Like,
that like I think everybody knows he's lying. Like I think Faye
right.
knows, her parents know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody
But
knows.
here's my favorite part was they were like she was like, you are wearing slides, which is like the like Nike flip flop. They like have the so like I swear to God, a couple weeks ago, I was talking to someone whose literal story was they had a friend who was trying to pretend they weren't going to a booty call, and they had gone out and they were in like a wife beater, shorts, and slides. And he was like, I'm gonna go to the gym or whatever. And like, this hasn't picked up a dumbbell in like years. He is not going to the gym, first of all. And he's like, oh no, he was like, I'm gonna go for a run. And they were like, in sandals. Like, we know where you're going. And they knew he was going to go hook up with some girl that they knew and he was hooking up with.
Yeah.
And so I was like, clearly he's going to hook up with someone. So yeah, I actually think very plausible.
Yeah. Also, well, I thought it was really weird that he wouldn't let her see his phone because it's a really easy way just to be like, hey, go through my phone. He's like, no, I can't have this kind of relationship. Da, 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 da. I was like, such a
Oh,
cop out. Like,
gaslighting.
seriously?
If we do that, trust is broken. Trust is
Yeah.
broken.
It's already
Trust is
broken, you
broken.
moron. Like, it's
Trust is
already
broken.
done.
And I was like,
Like,
yeah, buddy, taking a walk, like taking a 5 a.m. walk off the grid 3 hours away.
and he's hungover. Like, he's drunk or like he's so drunk. I don't know. It's just weird. The whole
I don't
thing's
know,
weird.
dude. Well, I can tell you right now, this guy, he came in, any guy that comes in, F-boy style, I'm the funny guy only, never
Yeah.
takes anything seriously, and then is like, I'm ADHD, which means I can't have accountability. And then I was like, yeah, this guy's a problem. And so I knew it. I know this
Yeah.
guy. I've known this guy 1,000 times over. They have no impulse
Yeah.
control. And he got bored apparently within weeks of Faye and has decided apparently to go party with again more people, because it looks like from the preview they party at the bachelor party.
Yeah.
And
He probably goes off on another walk after
yes.
the bachelor
Oh,
party.
also clearly he's self-sabotaging the doy. Like, just because
Yeah.
you have problems, again, just because you have problems doesn't mean I have to accept your self-sabotage, because that's like
Right.
her parents showed up early at the mid-season, which again, the mid-season party, this is really a lame one. There was not like enough. Everyone
Yeah.
was trying to make everyone believe they actually were the one that hated the other person first, and no one actually wanted to be with the other people again. And I thought that made it less interesting. But at that party, her parents show up and he's like, oh no, I wanted to have fun. So, but then it went well. And I think that, again, self-sabotage. He's like,
Yeah.
that went well. I'm freaking out because I don't want to be with this person actually forever. That has
Yeah.
consequences. And so then he immediately went and boned some girl, for sure.
Well, we said that last episode. Like, she is out of his league. And when someone like him gets someone out of their league, they don't live up to that. They go and try to see what else they can get, what else they can do,
Yeah.
what they can get away with. And that's exactly what he did. So,
and he's gonna get away with, like, this guy can get away with whatever he wants, honestly. He's an attractive young guy with a good personality. That's fine if you want to party, but don't be with someone who's like, don't do that to me.
Also, I don't know why, like, maybe he just doesn't look the but I'm like, just break up with her. It's okay. You don't have to marry her. You're not going to work out anyways. So just like, go break up with her and then go on your 5 a.m. walks. It's fine.
I don't understand that. There's a lot of challenges with
like he's barely known her. It's not going to be the end of the world for, like, just break up with her. It's not that hard.
She's going to be disappointed and then that's it.
But it's so much worse to me, like, we'll see what happens, but it's so much worse to me that he just doesn't show up on his wedding day, if that's what happens, or he shows up late or whatever. Like, that's so much worse.
Yeah, I can't, man. Yeah. And then, like, and she asked him, like, in the preview, she was like, I asked him not to drink a ton, and it shows him literally pouring up tequila just straight from the bottle into his mouth, full pours. And I'm like, this motherfucker's like,
he could, he's not in this for the marriage. I don't even know why he's on this show. It was for the clout. It was for fun. It was not to get married. Like, this guy.
Oh, I think he went. Yeah, I think he went to get some clout, to get some publicity, and now he can hook up with a bunch of hot ladies and party.
Yeah,
which is what he wants to do, and that's his prerogative. But boy,
I mean, I think Ciara was right. Like, she got a bad feeling about him, and she was right. She tried to warn Faye. Faye didn't want to listen, obviously, and that's fine. Like, yeah.
Which I will say, Ciara had a little bit of a responsibility in that, because she was coming from a really bad place when she was doing, like, she seemed very disingenuous about it. So you're not doing yourself any favors if you are right, but you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So, like, everyone thought she was just being because Jack kind of chose Faye over her and she wanted to break up with him first. I think that was true, and and her bad feeling was right.
Yeah,
and so I was like,
she was also right. Yeah,
they didn't believe her because she wasn't like, I don't know, Jack seems kind of like a douche. Maybe be careful. Instead, she was like, I'm going to undermine. And so, like, I feel like, come at it from a different angle, be a little less jerk about it, and then maybe she would have listened. That's just some helpful advice. People out there trying to persuade people. Don't do it. Don't come across as doing it for the wrong reason.
Well, I don't know how much. Yeah, I don't know how much she really cared either way. I think she was just like, here's what I know. Here's, do whatever you want with this information. And Faye did.
She gets
like
a glint in her eye whenever she's starting and doing this rumor stuff. She loves that. You can tell she loves like, she's there partially to play up the, like, drama queen stirring part.
Yeah, but I don't know how much she cared that, like, Jack and Faye ended up together. Like,
oh, she cared that Jack broke up with her first.
Yeah, but that's about it. And she cared that he called her boring. He did call her boring. I think she cared a lot about that.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, but I think then that's why Faye didn't believe that that she was telling the truth, because she was coming from it from a bad place of, like, this guy made me feel so I'm going to trash him, and not, hey, this guy actually is terrible.
Right.
That's not doing Faye any favors. Like, help out your fellow contestants here. Don't.
She did try. Didn't come up from our angle, but she did try.
Not well. It was not a good way to do it. Do better. Be smarter. Hey, we're in a new world, Shelly, and I'm just gonna have to tell people, I'm sorry. Think more. Like.
But also, it's not her responsibility to stop Faye from marrying this person. Like, at a certain point,
don't say anything.
Don't start. I feel like she's tried. I feel like she tried.
Oh yeah, but like, but in the pods, I don't know. I disagree. I think in the pods, I think she was obviously stirring up trouble because she was hurt, and regardless of whether she was right about it, I think that made Faye less likely to believe her. And that's
I agree.
I think that's shitty.
But I wouldn't put that on. I don't put that on Ciara. I put that on Jack. Like, Jack's the problem.
It's not her job to warn her, but
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk about it. I'm just saying, like, it was not really helping anybody. That was just being like, two wrongs don't make a right. So yeah, she should have, like, warned her better, because this guy sucks.
I mean, he does, but I don't know how much Faye was really going to listen either way. So
she might have. I don't know. You never know.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Because Jack came on, like, if you hear Jack just in the pods and he's only talking to you, he sounds very sincere. His like explanations make sense. Like, he makes sense to me. Like, if he's, and you only hear what he's saying to you, you're not hearing what he's saying to Ciara. So like, I can see like where she was like, oh, like, because it didn't take very long for Jack to turn her all around. Because she went in there a little skeptical, and then after one conversation, he was like, I just didn't feel inspired to write about Ciara, so I wrote about you, and you're the one I want, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
So I think he's just charming and manipulative, and yeah. Luckily, I don't think she's gonna go far with him. I don't think she marries him.
No chance.
They didn't have like a long relationship, luckily, because I don't know if anyone could have a long relationship with Jack. I don't know if that's possible.
No. This guy may eventually grow up, but right now he does not want a relationship. Not that, okay, that's a shitty thing to say, implying that not wanting a relationship is not growing up. If you don't want one, again, don't want a relationship, and you tell people that, that's fantastic and mature. If you pretend you want to be in a relationship and are lying, and then cheat on them a bunch and do like this, then yes, you're a terrible person. So don't, my dogs are having a fit. She's like, that's right, Jack's a jerk. But yeah, I'm like, this guy. So yeah, I think terrible. He's terrible. They can't get together. Also, the second time, I guess, the breakfast where he comes in and it's like them, her parents and him, and like you're having this argument, and I was just like, holy this, like, regardless of what's happening, worst. This is just a bad scenario. This is all around terrible. And I'm like,
well, especially because he supposedly made a good impression the night before, and also like her parents know he's lying. Like, there's no question in their minds. Like, his mom is super skeptical. Like, everyone knows he's lying. Yeah. Jack just doesn't want to admit it. Like, he just wanted, because, but he should just go ahead and break up with her. He just shouldn't take her all the way to wedding day.
No.
That's just
should have gotten out. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. I don't know. Is anything left on those two?
I think we can move on to Joseph and Francesca.
Joseph and Francesca.
Joseph. Yeah. He messed with Ciara. He messed with the wrong person.
Yeah. Man. I don't know. I
think he definitely led Chevanique on a little bit after he said Francesca was the one. I think he definitely was still open to exploring. Totally fine. I don't know why he just didn't come clean about it. Like, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah.
He chose Francesca.
Yeah. I mean, we all saw it. I wish, again, Netflix makes it really hard to, like, screen grab video. Like, it does not like you doing that. And so, like, I wanted a little clip so that we could actually, like, show this off. And I don't have the capabilities to do that. But, like, you can see in the pods when, like, he's trying to break up with again. Half the men's problem on this season is just not having the balls to break up with someone and stick with it. Like, they want to do there's a Seinfeld episode where they're like, nobody breaks up on the first try. It's like a vending machine. You got to rock it a couple times. And I'm like, a lot of men really do use that. You got to rock it a couple times strategy. And that's not great. Don't do that. So like, but like, she'd say, I don't know, here's all this list of reasons why I think we're good together. And he's like, like, he's so annoyed. He's like, God, stop, please just let me break up with you.
And he's like, you might be right. Yeah, like, maybe I should think about my decision some more. So like, yeah, he did definitely have some moments of doubts there. And I think that's fine. Like, that's what the show is. It's not like the end of the world, but why not just admit it? And
oh no, I've been that guy. And that's what I'm saying. He knew then and there that he was not picking Chevanique 100,000%.
Yeah.
He had no doubt. He just didn't have the balls to go, I hear what you're saying, and I understand you feel that connection, but I don't think you're my person, and that's it. Instead, he kept being like, oh, God, why do you have to make it hard for me? And then he all it was delaying enough until and so here's what he had to do. I'll be real. I've done this. You have that conversation, and he's like, yes, let's talk tomorrow. And then he steels himself for all of the possible, like, if you get thrown off your breakup game and someone's trying to logic you, it's never a good sign, right? I will tell people this. Yeah. This is my firm advice. If you are trying to logic someone into why they should want to like you, you've lost. That is not your person. So, like, I don't think that's not helpful. And so I think he just needed to say, like, I get it, and I hear it, and I'm sorry, and I feel bad. But I think he just needed to stand strong. I think it was entirely weakness. He just had to steel himself for the next day to say, I'm sorry, we're broken up. Bye! And I, like, run. I gotta get out of here. And so, I think...
I mean, if that's the case, then he deserves all this. Whatever's coming to him now, he deserves all of it.
That's 100% what happened, Shelly. 100%.
Then he deserves all of it. Don't feel bad at him for a little bit. He did it to himself.
And then he's a about it. Like, I was just like, fucking let it go, dude. And then, but then, like, Chevanique is just, I don't know what her problem is, other than she just wants to win at this point, and maybe it's because she doesn't want to look bad on the season, but, like, let it go, man. He's not that much of a catch, and you're hot and seemingly successful. Now I think it's because you're crazy that you don't, like, you might just be crazy. Like, I
think in her mind, he did lead her on. I think she was upset about that. And I think, because I think she put all her cards on the table and she was like, here's how I feel. And instead of being like, you know what, I understand where you're coming from. I see why you feel this way, but I just don't. It's somebody else. It's fine. Move on. He, like, gave her enough hope, which is really annoying, I think, being on her end.
Yeah, but, like, one day. It was just like one day.
Yeah, but like, still, like, this is still fresh for that. This is only like a couple weeks later for her.
Yeah, no, I think I have to take a hard line on, I think her behavior in the pods of trying to logic him into a relationship, I think that's just universally, you can feel however you feel, but I'm going to just say in the real world, that never works. That person, if you have to logic them into liking you, they're going to try it to be nice and not offend you, but ultimately it will fail. Like,
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying that, but I do think, like, if you're going to do it, just do it. Like, if you need to get all your cards on the table to, like, you know, so you can walk away and know you did it, just do it. It's fine. Yeah. You're doing it for yourself. Like, I think she's doing it more for herself.
He tried to rock the boat several times. She kept arguing with him. And I think he just didn't have the ball. It was his fault. He didn't have the balls to do it. He had to wait a day. But again, I'm like, it was one day that he, quote, led you on. So, like, get over it. You're just
one day in the pods is like 2 months in the real world, though. So, I don't know. Either way, I don't know if this couple makes it or...
Yeah, an issue. I don't know. I don't know if these guys get married or not, man.
I can't tell with them. They're very much a toss-up for me.
She reminds me of somebody. I don't know who. It's a blanking for me. Maybe Marissa a little. That's just because we just saw her recently. She's like a blend of two different people to me. Like two contestants on previous seasons. But I don't know. I feel like they're a good fit. But, like, I think they're a good fit. I don't know if they say... I think they say yes, possibly. More than I think they say no. But they might.
I could see it going either way.
Yeah, I just think the drama is, like... I was like, man, just give it up. Don't. But he's also feeding into it, and then, like, just, like, give it a rest, guys. We don't need this middle.
That's the most drama we've had all season, honestly. It was that conversation between these two, Chevanique and Ciara. That was the most drama. Well, aside from Jack, but Jack is his own drama by himself. Like,
I was just like, who was? Did Ciara? She came after the. It was Francesca, Joseph, and Chevanique, and they called Ciara over, and at some point I was just like, oh my god, like, it's literally, I was literally like, this is like sitcom at this point. That's where I was like, I feel like this is engineered. Like, this is sitcom level of, like, no, now call them over. The drama. I don't know. It's a very British sensibility, I feel like. I watch enough British stuff that I feel like that was a very, they love the, like, I don't know, it's like the very Downton Abbey where in the proper ballroom area, everyone's doing these digs that are like these underhanded, haha, gotchas. And, like, that's part of the game. They love the tete-a-tete. of it all. So
Yeah.
I'm just making all these claims also. I'm just reading this based on me watching British television. So, I could be
Yeah.
totally wrong about all British people. Feel free to argue with me in the comments for engagement. I don't care at this point. Even bad comments, that feeds engagement, baby. You can hate me all you want. I have to take stronger stances. We need engagement, baby. We're
Go
taking
for
this
it.
to the moon. But yeah, I don't know. These guys, I don't know. Maybe they work out. I don't actually have a reason they shouldn't work. Like, was there?
Yeah, I think they probably do. There's nothing that happened between them. All their drama was outside of the relationship.
Yeah, yeah. And
so there's no drama between them. So I feel like they probably say yes.
yeah, I think I assume they could.
I feel like everything about them was about other people. Like I feel like we've barely seen these two together.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know why. I feel the vibe. I don't know. I get a weird vibe from them though. I feel like they seem like they're just kind of fine with each other. They don't seem as like crazy. Maybe they're just not as expressive about it, but sometimes I feel like they're a little lukewarm toward each other, and I'm like, are you just here to like make it to the end? And then you're gonna be like, yeah, we're not gonna get married. It's fine. Bye. I don't know. They might. I just feel like a weird vibe. Maybe it's the drama. Maybe that.
Or well, we haven't seen enough of them as a couple. We've just seen the drama. So.
See, this is what I hate about this series, Shelly. I'm not used to their editing style, so I can't call out the blatant, this was definitely production interference, because they hide it better. Because, again, it's more subtle. It's all these little, oh, go and talk to them about this, maybe. That might be exciting. Like, I'm just not doubting that stuff happens. But I keep forgetting it because they do a better job disguising it in this season.
For sure.
So, Anyway, I think that's it. So that's our predictions. The episodes are out, and we are gonna cover that, the weddings, and that'll be a whole episode. Episodes 9 and 10 of this season, I believe, or is it?
9 it's 9 and 10. Yeah,
9 and 10, and then 11, I believe, is the reunion. So we'll do a separate reunion episode as well. So look forward to that. I don't think I have any closing thoughts. Yeah, we'll see who gets married.
Yeah, excited to watch them. I'm probably gonna watch it tonight, to be honest.
Yeah,
let me get out of here.
Put that on, and I don't know
if I'll finish this tonight, but I'm gonna watch.
Yeah. No, man, like, oh god, these over an hour, like an hour 6 minute. I was like, what are you guys doing? Why are you making shows that are an actual hour block plus the 6 minutes of credits and stuff? Get out of here. We don't have time for this, Netflix. You can't drop 8 episodes anyway. So yeah, we have 2 episodes and then another episode. So you have two more sets of shorts and coverage of our couples for Love is Blind UK season 3, and then we're gonna have Love is Blind US coming up in October. So plenty of content coming your way. Rate us, review us, subscribe on YouTube, or follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Is Love Blind Pod, on almost all platforms, I believe. If not, we'll get a link tree up that has any of the weird ones. Leave a review, let a friend know. If nothing else, tap like. That helps us as well. So I'm excited. We're gonna see what's happening. Any fun thoughts, Shelly?
No, I'm just excited to see weddings and see who's still together. I'm really excited to see reunions, see what happens.
Reunion's gonna be I'm so excited for the reunion. It's gonna be like Oh, and we didn't say just a shout out again. I think we saw the hosts once. We'll
finally see them again at the reunion. I do wonder, how Nick and Vanessa always show up for the wedding, the dresses and the tuxes. So I do wonder if they're going to show up for that. But yeah, we've barely seen the hosts. So I assume they're going to be just at the reunion and maybe a glimpse of them one more time.
Yeah, there was like one little section, and I thought, oh, again, man, they look so cool. What a cool hip couple. See, I was like, see, they're awesome. Anyway, so shout out to them. I should learn their names. Oops. For next episode, I will remember their names, and I might create a couples picture. I don't know if there's a stock photo of them. We'll find out.
I'm sure there are. Yeah.
Let's check out. We'll check out our coverage. Sunday is when we'll record the next episode and have stuff out. So keep looking for content to roll out as we go through Love is Blind season. So we'll talk to you next time, folks. Keep on watching.
Bye, everyone.